In the last tutorial, we had an introduction to colour and saw how we could change the fill and stroke of an object using the colour indicators at the bottom of the tool panel. In this tutorial, we're going to look at swatches, which gives us a way to store, reuse and organise colours. A swatch can be a name colour, a tint, a gradient or a pattern swatch. For this tutorial, we'll just concentrate on solid named colours. We'll introduce the more complex colour types in later lessons. The Swatches panel lives in the Panels bar. Let's just click to expand it. Remember, if you can't see the Swatch panel in the panel bar, then go to Window, Swatches to open it. Let's just drag it to the middle of the screen whilst we work with it. The Swatch panel is made up of individual colour chips and also colour chips that have been organised into groups. The panel comes with a set of default colours and colour groups, but you can remove these and also create your own. When you save a document, the configuration of the swatch panel is saved with it, so in effect every document has its own unique swatches associated to it. I can use the swatches to change the fill and stroke colour of objects on my artboard. To do this, I first need to use my selection tool to pick an object. Now before we select a swatch, I need to check the fill and stroke indicators at the bottom of the tool panel. If I want to change the fill, I need to make sure my fill indicator is on top by clicking on it. Now I can go ahead and click on one of my swatches to use it as the new fill colour. If I want to change the stroke, then I just need to click on the stroke indicator to bring it to the front and then select a swatch. New swatches are created by taking the colour defined in either the fill or stroke indicator and giving it a name and saving it to the swatch panel. I'm going to deselect my object so I don't affect its colour, then I'm going to double click on the stroke indicator to bring up the colour picker. And let's select a new colour. To add this to the swatch panel, I click the new swatch icon. This brings up a dialog box and you can see it has picked up the colour from the stroke indicator. By default, it has given this colour a name comprised of its colour reference values. Just to note, this is picking up the colour mode from your document settings. So if I created my document and chose CMYK as the colour mode, this will show me CMYK values as the swatch name. If I'd set the colour mode to RGB, then I would see RGB values here. If I prefer, I can type my own colour name. And click OK to add the colour to your swatch panel. I can now reuse this colour to fill or stroke any object. I can also add colours to the swatch panel by dragging and dropping them from the Tools panel. However, when I do this, I don't get the option to name them upon creation. If I want to name them, I need to double click on the swatch to bring up the swatch options. Once I have added my swatches, I can then organise them into groups. This just makes them a little bit easier to manage. To create a new colour group, I'm going to click on the new colour group icon at the bottom of the panel. I'm going to give my group a name, and then I'm going to click OK. Note that any swatch you had selected when you created the group will be added to the group automatically. If I prefer, I can automatically create colours in a group from selected artwork. I have created a colour palette here on my artboard. To add these colours as swatches, I'm just going to select all the objects, and then I'm going to click the new colour group. You can see that the dialog options are now preset to allow me to add colours from the selected artwork to the group. I'll give the group a name and then click OK. To add further swatches to the group, just drag and drop them. To remove a swatch from the group, just drag it back out of the group. If you want to remove a swatch from the swatch panel altogether, just drag it onto the delete icon at the bottom of the panel. The same with the colour group. To delete it, just drag and drop the group onto the delete icon. Illustrator also comes with a number of preset colour libraries which I can access by clicking on the Swatch Libraries menu at the bottom of the panel. I'll click on the Skin Tones library. This opens up a new swatch panel showing me the contents of this library. I can then use these swatches on my artwork. I can also open up the swatch panels from other Illustrator documents. I'm going to click on the Libraries menu again, but this time I'm going to choose Other Library. This allows me to search my computer for other libraries or Illustrator files. I'm going to go ahead and select an AI file I have here called SS16. This contains all my colours for the Spring-Summer 2016 season. Having created an Illustrator file with this colour palette defined, I can now open the swatches for use on all my designs for this season. You can see here that I can see the colour name as well as the colour chip. You can switch between the views by going to the Swatch menu and clicking Small Thumbnail View or Small or Large List View.